Welcome to this week's segment of the Rip-Off of the Week. My name is Adam Andrzejewski, and I'm the founder and CEO of OpenTheBooks.com. We're going to cover a lot of ground today. We're going to cover government gone wild at the federal level, and the examples are just pretty extraordinary. I just want to take a step back, review our mission with you. Our mission at OpenTheBooks.com is to post every dime online in real time. Last year, our auditors filed 40,000 Freedom of Information Act requests. It was the most in American history, and we successfully captured $6 trillion worth of federal spending, federal, state, and local spending at every level across America. And that data capture makes these reports to you possible. We do this so you can actually come to our website at openthebooks.com and follow the money and hold the political class accountable for tax and spend decisions. All right, we're going to talk about the federal government gone wild. And what I want to do now is introduce my co-host, Tamara Colbert.
Good evening, Adam. Thank you so much.
Hey,
Here
Tamara.
we go. Here we go, viewers. Adam, right now it seems there is a big spending agenda in D.C. Can you talk with us about what that looks like? And then, you've got so many examples, it's ridiculous.
So I think Washington, D.C. has always wasted taxpayer money. Just think about between 1975 and 1988, the Democrat from Wisconsin, William Proxmire, he did the Golden Fleece Award. His first Golden Fleece Award showcased a $400,000 study of why people fall in love. And Proxmire said everyone that he talked to about that, they all wanted that process to remain a mystery, and it didn't need $400,000 of taxpayer money. Well, fast forward to today. Just take Joe Biden's $2 trillion, quote unquote, American Rescue Act that included a $350 billion bailout of the states and localities. Look, 30,000 towns. Everybody watching the program today, your town actually got bailed out by Congress. My town here in Hinsdale, Illinois, where the average house is $1 million. We got $2 million a year money in our town to bail us out. You got Beverly Hills 90210. In California, they got $6.3 million. You got Greenwich, Connecticut on the East Coast. And all the wealthy New Yorkers fled New York City last year to Greenwich. They got $21 million. The Hamptons in New York got $8 million. Key West got $10.1 million, the vacation destination down in Florida. We looked at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, the vacation destination, Shishi Town. They got $1.6 million of your money to bail them out. For crying out loud, in the Silicon Valley, Santa Clara County, they're the county for Silicon Valley, one of the richest places in America. They got $400 million of your money.
That's unbelievable. So now that we know there's state bailouts, what about elites gaming this system for public money? What does that look like?
Well, at the height of the pandemic, right away, Congress passed the CARES Act. Only one member of the House, Thomas Massie, stood up against that CARES Act. But it passed unanimously. Massey's vote wasn't counted. All the Democrats voted for it. All the Republicans voted for it, except, Massey, he was the lone holdout. So in there was the Paycheck Protection Program. And round one, these dollars were supposed to go to struggling mom and pop businesses on Main Street that had been shut down because the politicians shut down economies to, quote unquote, flatten the curve. You remember those days, Tamara. And so the PPP money was supposed to go to those businesses. But the Hollywood elites got their hand in the till. So you've got, for instance, Kanye West with his expensive sneaker company. He claims to be a billionaire. They got $2.4 million of PPP money in round one. That could have really helped some small business owners. You had Robert Redford, the Hollywood actor. He's got a foundation called the Sunlight Foundation, and they received over $3 million of round one PPP money. You had Francis Ford Coppola. He's the director of The Godfather. They got $8.5 million of PPP funding in round one. Okay, so look, you've also got the Ivy League that got COVID.
Right.
The Ivy League, they've got at least $150 billion in their endowment. They got $168 million worth of COVID relief funds. They can't argue they needed the money. I mean, heck, you got Hamilton. It hit the papers last week that one of the most successful musicals on Broadway, the musical Hamilton.
Of all time, by the way.
Applied for $50 million of COVID aid. They've already received $30 million from the program. And then, Tamara, this is incredible. You've got PPP for the CCP. That's the Chinese Communist Party, up to $419 million flowed on coronavirus aid through the PPP program, round one, rather than to mom and pop businesses on Main Street, relatively large companies owned by the Chinese Communist Party.
Unbelievable. So, I mean, states, we've got celebrities, we've got municipalities. So what about federal employees? Are they gaming the system through all this? What's the golden fleece for federal employees?
Well, Tamara, if you hit your 3-year anniversary, now you've been working for openthebooks.com for about 3 years. Think about that. If you were a federal employee, you would receive this year 44 days of paid time off. That's 1 day short of 9 weeks you would receive of paid time off. It's 11 federal holidays, 13 sick days, and 20 vacation days. Is this France?
This is crazy. I don't even remember the last time I took a vacation with Open the Books because we're so busy all the time. But maybe in my next life, I will become a federal employee. So, you know, Adam, Open the Books has done some extraordinary work, not just throughout the COVID pandemic. Sticking to our mission has been just, our auditors are incredible. But we have learned also recently about the White House payroll and what they're doing through our Open the Books audit. What does that look like?
Well, 2 weeks ago, we audited the Biden White House payroll. When they disclosed it, 2 hours later, we beat every single news organization in the country to our oversight. And we found that, you know, to the extent that that White House payroll is a leading indicator of Biden's commitment to spend money to expand the size, scope, and power of the federal government, we should all be troubled. For the first time in history, his payroll has more than 500 employees. It's got 568 employees. For the first time in history, the payroll rivals $50 million. To put that in perspective, Biden's payroll is 190 employees larger than what Trump's payroll was at this moment in his first year. It's $10 million of spend larger than Trump's payroll. Heck, it's 80 employees bigger than Obama's payroll at this point in time. So to the extent it's a leading indicator, hold on to your wallets.
Exactly. So, okay. So at this point, people are thinking, can we look to Republicans to save us from that spending or to help decrease that spending? What say you?
Unfortunately, for the regular watchers of the ripoff of the week, last week we showcased the 23 newly elected House members, freshman members of Congress that ran as fiscal conservatives, yet Nancy Pelosi turned them into bona fide Washington, D.C. insiders within 4.5 months. How did she do it? She floated bringing back the culture, the currency of corruption in Congress, the idea of earmarking, which cements the speaker's power over membership. How? They float a member pet project in their district. They put it in legislation in exchange for votes to get Republicans to start voting for Joe Biden's big spending agenda. And 23 Republicans joined Nancy Pelosi, helped tip the entire House Republican caucus into voting in a secret vote, 102 to 84. The freshmen were the swing votes, and the Republicans joined Pelosi in bringing back the currency of corruption. She just rewarded those freshmen with $370 million worth of earmarks in her infrastructure bill.
That's unbelievable. So what can we ask
Real quick, Tamara, I want to go to the Republican leadership that also took those freshmen by the hand. It's guys like Sam Graves down in Missouri. Who's Sam Graves? He's the ranking Republican, powerful guy, on the House Infrastructure and Transportation Committee. He's on board with earmarks. Nancy Pelosi just put $30 million worth of Sam Graves' proposed earmarks in that infrastructure bill. You and I would be on the hook for about $9.4 million to build safe sidewalks in Alexior Springs, Missouri, thanks to the Republican leader on that committee, Sam Graves.
That is unbelievable, Adam. You know, when we look at all of that, there's got to be something that our viewers, that we, the people, can do to slow down this process. What does Open the Books need our viewing audience to do?
First off, we just have to be engaged. This system doesn't turn around unless people speak, unless people stand up. And Dante wrote that some of the hottest fires in hell are reserved for those people that in a time of crisis just stand there and do nothing. And now's the time. So you got to weigh in with your member of Congress. We'll post our Forbes investigation of the 23 House freshmen, and you got to call every single one of their offices and complain about this. Yeah. Come to openthebooks.com, sign our petition to simply slow Congress down, 72-hour timeout to read the bill. It's critical that we read the bill legislation. And then the third thing is more investigations are dependent on you for your donations and investment at openthebooks.com. Just give us $1 a day. That's $30 a month. Set it up on automatic. And every single dollar will go right into holding the political class accountable. Those big spending Republicans and Democrats, we're going to hold them together accountable for tax and spend decisions.
Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you, everyone, for watching. You can join us every Thursday at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll have another ripoff of the week for you. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.